When this video gets released on the 23rd of March, that will mark exactly 5 years, half a decade, since the UK Prime Minister at the time, Boris Johnson, had this to say.
The time has now come for us all to do more. You must stay at home. If you don't follow the rules, the police will have the powers to enforce them. To ensure compliance with the government's instruction to stay at home, we will immediately close all shops selling non-essential goods, including clothing and electronic stores, and other premises, including libraries, playgrounds and outdoor gyms and places of worship.
So Boris Johnson announced a lockdown, a quarantine where everybody had to stay at home. Gyms were shut, leisure activities were stopped, and even going to the shops was limited. So inevitably, it was a pretty devastating time for most people, with anxiety rates, health anxiety rates, and social isolation being through the roof. But amongst a lot of the darkness, there were snippets of light, and I was able to enjoy aspects of the lockdown. And that was because I was fortunate enough to be able to continue to try to make content, which is something that I get a lot of joy from, but also I was able to train. And I wanted to have a look back over the last sort of 5 years during the lockdown period and show some of the videos that I sort of put together, some of the training footage, and kind of react to that because it was a very strange time. But like I say, I was able to find some light in the darkness, and that was through the form of content creation and training. So that's what I'm going to do for this video, look back and do a little bit of a ranking, all the fun, good aspects of lockdown, but maybe some of the aspects of lockdown which weren't so fun and maybe were a bit strange as well. So I hope you enjoy. Okay, so I've found the videos. So let's jump back in time 5 years. So I guess the first thing to do is react to when I found out about the lockdown. So let's get into it. Okay, so things have escalated quite dramatically since I've got back from the gym. So also just to say, I look ridiculously young and skinny in these videos. It's
and bald.
Crazy. Not yet.
Oh,
not yet.
Sorry.
I'm getting onto that.
Ruin the surprise.
There was an announcement on the news that they are closing down all gyms and all pubs and restaurants and everything else in the leisure industry indefinitely, and that could be up to 3 months or something, and that's nationwide. So obviously that's not good news for a lifter. However, I've just spoken to a gym called the Strength Lab, and they have very, very, very kindly offered to rent me or loan me, give me some weights. So I'm going to go pick them up. So obviously it was a horrible time finding out that news that everything was basically going to be closed indefinitely, but I was in a really fortunate position where I was actually able to borrow some weights off the gym lab. So that really was a massive blessing, because I'm not quite sure how I would have managed had I not been able to train at all. So after I had got that, I had some weights but didn't really have anywhere to train. So luckily Craig has a really good garage, and we actually went in there and basically started setting up our own gym. First steps to building our home gym.
Makeshift Phoenix Fitness gym.
This is going to be the first Phoenix Fitness gym.
Yeah.
Love it.
Start from the ground up.
Yeah. So at the moment this is all we've got. So we've just got the So it was obviously very basic. We didn't really have much. We had a few weights, had a bar, but we didn't have anything else. It's measuring to see if we can actually fit the squat rack in there. The squat rack that we found is 4x4 foot, and we're thinking that might just fit there, but it's going to be a little bit close, so we might have to go in. It's weird looking back. So we actually did our first lockdown deadlifts together on this day on the carpets, and they make a horrific sound putting them down. So we decided the next day we would go to B&Q to try to find some wood to make a makeshift deadlift platform.
Get some wood.
So we've got some flooring there as well, some matting for the platforms, and yeah, we realised pretty quickly that that pretty much did nothing to protect the floor.
Should we go and build a deadlift platform?
Yeah, I think we will.
So yeah, we got constructing the deadlift platform, and we thought that Gorilla Glue would be good enough to stick down to the floor, but it wasn't. So after this was the first proper heavy deadlift of lockdown, where actually I went for 260 kilo, which would have been close to, well, pretty much a max at the time. That sound just goes through me, that sound of hitting the weight on the floor. So obviously I was just feeling really grateful at this point that I actually had somewhere to train, to be honest. So yeah, 250, and then had a go at 260, but unfortunately it was no bueno. And obviously we just were using anything to train at this point, so we found some cat litter to just do some lateral raises and things like that. But yeah, talking of weird things to train with, obviously use the bins as a squat rack. I think a lot of people did that, but I didn't realise just at the time how sketchy this actually was. Like, I realised it wasn't that safe, but looking back just kind of makes me cringe, because it really was pretty dangerous, to be honest. But yeah, just quickly going back there, I think if I'm sort of ranking sort of some of these videos according to like the best moments versus the worst moments, definitely finding out about the lockdown was obviously a big low point, and I'll rank these sort of like near the end, because I definitely do have some fond memories of lockdown, weirdly, which I'm going to rank sort of higher up. But yeah, let's just have a look at how I actually managed to squat with these bins for a squat rack. You can just tell by my reaction that I knew it was sketchy at the time. So yeah, after that, got some more equipment in, so that was quite an enjoyable process of trying to get a lot of equipment in. Obviously the equipment companies were ramping up the prices massively and just profiting from the fact that lots of people were buying home gyms, so had to get in there quickly to try and buy stuff, because stuff was just getting sold out so quickly as well. So this was my first bench that I bought.
Let's build a bench.
Grab your coat and an open mind, 'cause when we do, we're white as sky. So clap your hands.
So let's skip ahead to actually me benching on it, because once again, this was sketchy as fuck.
I've always liked to play with fire.
Playing with Fire is a very apt song for this. Why didn't I just use a spanner? Ridiculous.
I've always liked to play with fire. I ride the edge, my speed goes in the red.
So my 1 rep max around this time was about 150 kilos. So I decided that I wanted to go for 140 kilos on this day, which looking back is pretty stupid, bearing in mind the state of that bench.
I've always liked to play with.
Rite of passage, classic habit, matching the gas tank.
Not allowed to do that in the IPF anymore.
Digital justice, now you're gonna know what's hail to the king and queen of the ruckus. Got money wired, no denying. I've always liked to play with fire.
Play with fire. Always liked to play with fire.
Obviously I was very happy with it, but I was also happy that I wasn't dead. But talking of stupid things that I did during the lockdown, this pretty much tops it off and is going to the bottom of the pile of the good things about lockdown. Shall I keep it like that? Oh no. Just kidding. What a joker. That'll do. So yeah, I decided to shave my head. I was being a little bit of a sheep with that. A lot of people were doing it at the time, but I can say categorically it does not suit me, and luckily I am just about holding on to my hair still. Thanks babe. Shall I shave it like that again?
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment. If it starts thinning anymore, then I don't think I'm going to have an option, but you know. So amongst some of the terrible decisions, there were some more positive ones, and one of them was actually attempting to do a 5 kilometre run, because I'd never actually ran 5k. I mean, I probably had done when I was a little bit younger, doing cross country and things like that, but I hadn't done it pretty much as an adult, and especially as a powerlifter. So I thought during COVID, during lockdown, then was a good time to do it. Right, I'm ready, or as ready as I can be, to do this 5k run.
So far, so good.
Even at a good time,
Oh god, I look so red.
That's 1.5 miles done, I think. So just under halfway.
You look like an egg.
I know, a red egg.
A running egg. Just in time for Easter.
So this is one of the fond memories that I have of lockdown, just doing different things. I did like the bleep test with a friend as well, really enjoyed that. It was challenging, but yeah, fond memories.
Beautiful weather for it, but it's just absolutely savage. Right, final push. Let's see if we can do this in under half an hour. I'll probably get just over half an hour, to be fair. I actually don't believe that. We've got 3.1 miles, which converts to 5 kilometres in 29 minutes 57 seconds.
So I did it in just under half an hour, which was my goal. So when I start running again, I say again like I was a keen runner, that's going to be the goal as well, to get under half an hour and then to do under 60 minutes for a 10k. So after the running, I did actually manage to get a few PBs during the lockdown as well, and that introduces the PB or the PR horn that Sam had at Randy Sam's Pump House, which it is affectionately known as. So I've just completely forgotten that when we're going for a PR, we're meant to drink from the PR horn. There it is, the PR horn.
I'm having a second scoop of it.
So this was actually a mock me that I decided to do during the lockdown, and actually managed to get a squat PB after failing it as well, which again was a little bit sketchy. Cheers. So here it is, 245 kilos.
Do this, come on, mate! All or nothing! Come on! You're tight! Sam, come on!
Training with Sam was awesome during this time. That could have ended so badly.
You walk it! I lost balance. You were so low to the bottom, I couldn't get done.
I'm having another go. I mean, the strength is there.
Yeah.
It's fucking there, I just fell forward.
Finish it! Finish it! Yes!
I don't think I'm actually ever going to be able to beat that feeling of getting that squat PB, just because during lockdown, when you're in a small space like that, like in a garage, it's like an echo chamber of intensity that you just don't really get in a gym environment. It was just so different that it just felt amazing to get a PB in that situation. So even though I've squatted 20 kilo more than that since then, I still hold this 245 squat as the best squat that I've ever done. So the PR horn was used once again for Sam hitting a PB this time. So this was his birthday, and he decided to max out his deadlift. So this again is actually one of my favourite clips from lockdown.
Has it been that long since we've last hit a PR?
Yeah. Here we go again, buddy.
Pre-workout Guinness.
Guaranteed now.
So this was 260, and yeah, he gets really hyped up. So this is what I mean by you get really invested in it, just because it's such an intense little environment, which I don't think you can get in a gym necessarily. It was just such a strange time. It was, yeah, very personal. Gives me goosebumps.
Everything you got, come on! Come on, Sam! There it is, come on! Lock it! Lock it! Yes, easy! Well done, buddy.
I love how chilled he is after he's hit a PB like that. But it wasn't the only PB that went down on the deadlift during lockdown, so I managed to do a conventional PB of 250 kilos, which is here. Don't know what I was looking at it so intensely then. God, I made that look tough. But I also managed to do a 270 kilos during the lockdown as well, which was actually a pretty big PB, and that was a sumo this time. And that was definitely the heaviest lift of lockdown. But unfortunately, where there was some success and some good times, there were those negative times as well. And on this occasion, I took a visit to Snap City. So this was 180 kilos training with Craig in Craig's garage. And on the second rep here, I can't help but laugh at this clip. It was really painful at the time. I proper snapped my back up, but it could have ended a lot worse. And I think that's, yeah, something around the lockdown and training at home. There was a lot of risk involved, and I'm sure a lot of people probably did, like this, get injured just because it's not exactly a controlled environment. But yeah. So yeah, those were some of the kind of highlights and lowlights of lockdown for me, really. Overall, I have quite fond memories of it. Training with Craig in his garage and creating that gym, creating my own sort of gym in my back garden as well. There's a point where I had like a marquee up as well. Getting the squat rack, I'd made a video about how much it all costs to get everything in from the equipment point of view. So it was really interesting to be able to create that sort of content and make those sort of videos. Training with Sam and the PR horn at Randy Sam's pump house. It was just some good memories, but again, like I say, it was there was also some sort of more negative moments in there, and I'll put a sort of ranking together of all of those clips to sort of rank what I enjoyed the most. And I definitely think that squat and training with Sam, those sort of PBs are right up there. So I think I'm going to sign out the video there, guys. There was a lot more clips that I could have gone through, but I realised the video is already quite long, so I'm going to do a little bit of a montage of my favourite stuff all sort of combined just to finish off the video. But yeah, it just makes me very grateful that we're not in a lockdown anymore. It was a very weird time, as I mentioned, a devastating time for a lot of people, and it's kind of crazy that it has been 5 years since all of that, but hopefully that is the last lockdown that we're going to have to experience.